Welcome back to Plant-Based with Jeremy. Today we're going to talk about something that a lot of you have asked me to talk about. How to eat plant-based or vegan on a tight budget. If you're new to the channel, welcome to PB with Jay. Here we talk about most things plant-based and vegan related. There's a lot of cooking videos on here, information videos like this, as well as this series I've been doing lately that a lot of people enjoy. This is where I cook from a cookbook for an entire week, and me and my family let you know what we honestly think about it.
Oh! Hey guys, it's really good.
So if you think you're gonna like something like that, check those videos out as well. But today's topic is something that's really important to me because I think it's crucial that if you wanna eat vegan or plant-based or any variation of this, you shouldn't feel that cost is an encumbrance. Because there's this, myth that a lot of people have where they think that eating plant-based or vegan is too expensive for them. That's just not true. And today, we're gonna explain that and debunk that myth that's gotten into your head for reasons I don't understand. By the end of this video, you're gonna have no doubt in your mind that eating this way can be super cost effective and honestly, can save you money. I'm gonna give you practical tips to navigate the grocery store, save time in the kitchen, and we're gonna dive into some budget-friendly meals, desserts, and snacks that will not break the bank. Whether you're a student, a busy professional, or a family, there's something in here for you. So get ready to learn and be inspired about eating plant-based on a budget. If you wanna jump ahead to any particular topic, I've got a chapter section down below, but first time through, I highly recommend you just watch the video straight through. You can always go back and look at the chapters later on for a refresher. If you find any of these tips particularly helpful, or if you want to share any of your own tips, please do so in the comment section below. Also, let me know where you're watching this from. I live in Toronto, Canada, so some of my information will be centered towards that, and I'll get to that as we talk about it. If you enjoy this video, give me one of those thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more stuff like this. Now let's get to the two main topics that are the cornerstones of eating cheaply on a vegan or plant-based diet. That's meal prepping and grocery shopping. There's an old phrase, those who fail to plan to fail. That happens in the kitchen too. When you plan food ahead, you make smart choices, you cut down on waste, and you save money. It's like a win-win for everyone and everything. Here's my secret nerdy weapon. I set a little bit of time aside at the end of every week before I go grocery shopping on the weekend to plan my meals for the week. I ask my family what they're interested in eating, or if I'm working from a cookbook, I have that. I write down all the things I need for the dinners, what me and my wife and kids might want for our lunches and breakfasts, snacks. I jot all that down, and when I go to the grocery store, that's all I get. With a solid plan, you have a nice focused shopping list and you cut down on the impulse buys. Unless you bring my daughter Annie with you, and then it's always, can I get this? Can I get that? And I usually let her get something because I'm a sucker. I'm just a suck. This is what she got last week. I let her buy these things. Not whole food plant-based, I don't think. If you want to take it up a little bit of a notch, plan some meal prep days. If you've got like an extra hour or two on a weekend, that's your best time slot. Pick a meal or types of meals where you can just batch stuff. So I'm talking like grill a bunch of vegetables or bake a bunch of vegetables, make a big pot of oatmeal, cook some beans, cook a big pot of grains, quinoa, couscous, rice. Put those things into containers in your fridge and you can pull them out to make quick breakfasts, lunches, and dinners all week long. All you need to do is have a sauce to add to them. You could even grill up some tofu. When you're planning your meals, what I highly recommend is picking things that are versatile that you can use in multiple meals. For example, a big pot of like a soup or a stew could be great on that initial meal as the stew, but the next day you could put it over some pasta or some rice. And now it's a bit more of like a curry type thing or a bowl. Depending how thick it is, you could also turn that thing into a wrap or just serve it on top of bread, like a sloppy Joe kind of thing. It's all about making a big meal that you can use for multiple meals and not wasting your leftovers. And if you've done that meal prep and you've got some grilled or baked vegetables and beans and stuff in the fridge, it's super easy to make a stir fry at the last minute or just a big veggie bowl. If you've got a grain, some veggies, a source of protein like tofu or tempeh or beans, and a sauce, that's a meal. And you can swap out the protein source and the sauce, and it's an entirely different meal. Throw some fresh herbs on there if you got them. Boom. And the breakfast version of that is cooking a giant pot of oatmeal at the beginning of the week, and then just adding different fruit and nuts and seeds and dried fruit or whatever it is you want throughout the week to make it different every single time. One pot of oatmeal can turn into dozens of meal variants. And you don't just have to have a sweet oatmeal. You can throw some savory stuff in there too. Some people love their oats with nutritional yeast. Maybe not me, but some people do. Let's talk kitchen gadgets for a second. Now, this is an area where you can spend a lot of money, but doing so will save you money in the long run. One of the cheaper items, let me just grab mine. This is like my favorite thing in the world. Oh my God, it's heavy. This is my best friend. His name is Instant Pot. Not a sponsor yet. I use this thing maybe multiple times a day on some days. This thing is perfect for cooking grains. Oh God, the liquid in the bag is leaking out. Ew. Yeah, I empty that thing from time to time. Mine's full. That's gross. I'm gonna put this down. Yeah. Deal with that later. It's great for making just a variety of meals, anywhere from like curries to soups to stews. People have made desserts in these things. It's good for steaming vegetables. But what I use it for all the time is cooking dried beans and grains and other things. And those will save you a ton of money, especially if you buy beans dry and you cook them. It's super fast in there. And if you cook them in bulk, you can freeze them. You will save a ton of money just doing that alone. And an Instant Pot is actually super affordable compared to a lot of other kitchen gadgets. It's like around $100. And fun fact, it was invented by a Canadian. Go Canada! Woo woo! My other two top kitchen items that I would pimp out a little bit would be a high-speed blender. I use a Vitamix. I know there's a lot of other great ones in the market like Ninjas and whatnot. Again, I'm not sponsored by anyone yet, so you use whatever you want. These things are great for making, smoothies, but also sauces and whatnot. The other item I would recommend that can be a bit expensive is a food processor. This is great for making like granola bars, making sauces, cutting up your vegetables and whatnot. These are the kind of things that will save you a ton of money. It's gonna cost a little bit on the upfront, but it'll save you in the end. And a little tip for finding these items a little bit cheaper, especially the Vitamix, you can buy them refurbished. If you go to the websites of these companies, they often have a little section that mentions refurbished items. They're just as good as the other ones. They're guaranteed and whatnot. Check those out. We've done our meal prep. We got our gadgets. Now to the grocery store. So as I mentioned before, there's this misconception that eating plant-based is gonna empty your pockets. And for lack of a better term, that's bullshit. For some reason, people think that plant-based foods like vegetables and produce and plant proteins can cost an arm and a leg. It couldn't be further from the truth. All these things are super affordable if you know where to look, so let's get into that. Let's talk fruits and vegetables. Not only are they packed with all the nutrients and goodness that your body needs, they're also friendly on your wallet if you know how and when to buy them. Seasonal produce is always cheaper and easy to find. What's seasonal produce? That's super hard for me to tell you because I don't know where you live. You can let me know in the comments below. And depending on what time of the year you're watching this video, it'll be a different seasonal fruit or vegetable. A quick Google search will tell you what is seasonal in your area at that time of year. And if you can't get fresh, check out your freezer aisle because you can be surprised by how affordable frozen vegetables and fruit can be. And they're just as nutritionally sound. Those things are flash frozen at the time that they're picked. So they're at their optimal freshness. Also, consider the grocery store you're going to. If you're only going to high-end grocery stores, you're going to get ripped off. I don't know about other places in the world, but here in Canada, we have got some discount grocery chains like No Frills and Food Basics that offer pretty much everything you can get at the bigger chains at a discount. And it's basically the same stuff. And in all grocery stores, they often have a section off to the side where it's full of quick sale items that are up to 50% off. It's stuff that's, starting to go a little wonky and expired. So you just want to make sure to eat that quickly. Another new things are apps like Flash Food. Again, not a sponsor. This is an app that my wife told me about, where grocery stores will post things that they have in excess of or are starting to turn. You can get those things at ridiculous savings, but you gotta check it because it's being updated constantly. And it's not just produce, it's also fridge and freezer items as well. Sometimes items on the shelf. Again, it's stuff that's about to expire, so you wanna be able to eat it quickly. And you can go old school with things like loyalty programs, store flyers, coupons. Those are secret weapons to saving yourself some money. And don't be one of those people that assumes that the generic or store brand version is not as good as the name brand. That's also usually bullshit. At least give it a shot. Try it out in earnest, and if you don't like it, go back to the name brand. But you might find a new favorite, and it'll save you some money. Now, while we're at the grocery store, let's talk about our shelf-stable goodies that are gonna save you money in the long run. I'm talking about grains like quinoa and rice and couscous and oats. These are the kind of things you can buy in bulk, and they're gonna last pretty much forever on your shelf. After that, you've got things like beans, lentils, legumes. Those are the kind of things I highly recommend you buy dry, and then you just cook in an Instant Pot or on the stovetop in bulk and freeze the extras. The amount of money you will save doing that as opposed to buying canned beans is astronomical. Keep a couple canned beans in your pantry for quick meals, but if you can prep a little bit in advance, you can save a lot of money. Beans are so versatile. Obviously, you can use them in soups and stews, but you can also make a really wicked veggie burger for yourself as well. I got a link to that down below in the description. I made one. It's yummy delicious.
Yeah.
Another thing you might want to consider if you have a family and can buy in bulk and have room in your house, shop at a place like Costco. You'd be surprised how many plant-based items they have, and they have a lot of produce and fruit as well. And if you live in an area that has a farmer's market, check that out. They often have way better prices than you'll ever get in a grocery store. And if you go closer to the end of the day, they're giving stuff away for massive discount price. But it's a little picked over at that point. So there's that. And if you really still don't believe that you can't save money eating this way, just grab yourself a calculator and then check out the prices of meat per pound and compare that to the plant-based proteins I mentioned already, like beans and legumes and even tofu. You will be shocked by how much money you're gonna save eating this way just by cutting out those animal proteins. And my last big grocery store tip is don't sleep on international grocery stores. If you live near a bigger area, chances are there's a couple of these in the town. There's places like Asian supermarkets, Indian supermarkets, and these places have a lot of these staples I'm talking about and spices and other things at really good prices. Here in Toronto, Canada, I live in an area known as Little India, and there's this great little grocery store at the top of my street that has the cheapest spices I've ever seen. It's stuff that I can get at the grocery store, but I get there way cheaper. All right, now let's talk about super cheap meals that you can make on the quick. Let's start with breakfast. I already mentioned oatmeal and oats and overnight oats. This is honestly, it's super healthy. It's good for you. It can be really versatile. All you have to do is change up some spices, some cocoa powder, some cinnamon, whatever it is you like. I've got a bunch of oatmeal recipes on my website if you want some inspiration, but just look around yourself and figure out what kind of fruits you like, vegetables you like. I've made black forest oatmeal. I got like a pumpkin pie oatmeal, tropical oatmeal. If you're on the go and you need a quick meal and you want a little bit on the lighter side, smoothies are the world of options and nutrition. Throw a little bit of greens in there, some protein powder if you want, some chia seeds. And if you want to bulk it up a little bit more, throw some oats in there. Use a combination of fresh and frozen fruit. And you can make these in bulk too. You just need to stir them up again before you eat them. If you're more of the savory type when it comes to breakfast, no problem. I've got a video and a recipe on my website for tofu scramble.
Listen to that squishy. It's not an attractive sound, but that's the sound it makes.
Take some of those vegetables you've already cooked up from your fridge or dice up some quickly, heat them up in a pan, and then crumble on some tofu with a little bit of broth, some spices, nutritional yeast.
That's really nice. You could top this with some hot sauce, salsa, ketchup, whatever you like to put on scrambled eggs. Make it your own.
Super simple. Now let's talk about lunch. 2 super satisfying and budget-friendly meals of my choice are soups and sandwiches. On my website, I have got a ton of different soup recipes. And if you've got an Instant Pot, all you need to do is add about 4 to 6 cups of water or broth, some spices, put in another 4 to 6 cups of vegetables, a cup or 2 of cooked beans. Put that on for about 15 minutes on your Instant Pot. It's good to go. Want to throw some diced tomatoes in there? Beautiful. At the end, if you got some spinach or kale, chop it up really small, throw that in, stir it around. It'll just wilt enough. You don't have to put it in earlier, it'll cook too much. You can make a soup on the fly doing literally just that. Do a Google search for different spice blends, make them in bulk and leave them at the ready so you can just toss them in. The other thing that I can do for a quick lunch is make like a chickpea salad sandwich. Again, I have a recipe on my website and down below. But if you just open up a can of chickpeas, mash it with a little bit of tahini, some mustard, a little bit of salt, garlic salt if you want, mash that all together, put it on a little bit of bread with some lettuce, fresh tomatoes, whatever you got. Beautiful, beautiful sandwich. Now let's talk about dinner. I already mentioned making a bowl, so I'm not gonna go back to that. But 2 things that are staples in our house are curry. So again, you can make a really generic curry in your Instant Pot or your stovetop just by combining some coconut milk with some vegetables and a little bit of broth, cooking that down, add some spices in there, throw lentils in there, they get really creamy and delicious. And then you serve that over a brown rice or quinoa, and that is like ultimate comfort food as far as I'm concerned. The other thing my family loves is pasta. So a couple different options I'll do for a quick pasta are just roasting up a couple of vegetables, making a quick sauce on the stovetop with a can of crushed tomatoes and some spices. And usually all those things can happen while your pasta is boiling. Another really easy thing to do is make a quick pesto. If you got a food processor, just throw in some basil or kale or spinach along with some garlic, a little bit of tahini, some cashews or pine nuts. Throw some peas or silken tofu into that pesto, and now you've got like a protein-packed pasta. If you're making pasta the other way with tomato sauce, consider adding some beans to it. Or if you want to make like a tofu ricotta, I've done that too, and I have that recipe on my website, where you just blitz up like an extra firm tofu with some tahini and nutritional yeast and a couple spices. Beautiful. Really, really quick. You just crumble it on top. Delicious. Last but not least, let's get to some desserts and snacks. One of the go-to things in my house are homemade granola bars. This is a staple that my wife insists is made once a week, and she and the kids both take that to school. All it really is a blend of dates with oats and seeds and like tahini, because we're sending it to school, so we can't put nut butters in there. But if you're just eating it at home, you can do that as well. I have a wonderful recipe for these homemade oil-free granola and granola bars on my website. Check those out. And I think I have a video too. If so, it'll be overlaid here. The other thing you can do for a really quick and easy snack is taking chickpeas or nuts and just tossing them in some kind of a spice blend and then baking them in your oven or air fryer until they're about the right amount of crispy you want. For nuts, I wouldn't do much more than 10 minutes. For chickpeas, you might want a little bit longer if you want them to dry out nicely. My wife made some the other day. And then she just stores them in here. Look at these little crispy, crunchy chickpeas. I missed. Let's try one more time. Huh? So good. Oh, it's like a barbecue flavor. This would be like 10 bucks in the store. I think it costs us like $1 to make. Maybe not even. And if you want to keep it really, really simple, fruit. Fruit is a perfect kind of sweet snack. It's full of water and fiber. Yes, it's got sugar, but the sugar is natural. It's gonna hydrate you. And also, if you get used to eating fruit as your sweet snack, your taste buds are gonna get used to that, and you're gonna crave processed sweet things a lot less. And last but not least, when it comes to dessert, my website is packed with ideas on there, and they're all budget friendly. From chocolate tarts made of tofu, muffins, cakes, cookies, the best chia pudding you'll ever eat. I know what you're saying. A lot of people are like, I hate chia pudding. I don't like the little beady things. I just want it, I like the smooth pudding. I have got the best chia pudding on there. Super smooth and silky, game changer. Give it a shot. Let me know in the comments below when you love it, because you will. And if you hate it, let me know too. And then I'm gonna get into the kind of person you are. And there you have it, friends. How to eat vegan or plant-based on a budget without breaking the bank. If you liked that video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up down below, and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Leave me a comment if you have any plant-based or budget-friendly tips that you've got that you want other people to know about, or if you have any things you want me to make videos about in the future around the plant-based and vegan topics, let me know, and you might be inspiring a future video. And YouTube wants you to watch this one next because they think that this is the perfect follow-up video to this current video based on your needs. So give it a shot, and maybe they're right. And if they're not, come back and let me know, and I'll give YouTube a talking to. Thanks.